the whole way this works is because the person that's elected and the person that's voted in is somebody that's like, okay, this person is going to be impartial. That's just how it works. So for people that are like, Justin Trudeau should be, it's his responsibility. It's one of those situations. It's not. It's really not. And in that process, because of that, Greg Fergus, the first black Speaker of the House, was elected. I know he's been an MP since 2015. He serves as co-chair to the Parliamentary Black Caucus, and then he's head of the Liberal Black Caucus. I think he was head for 6 years, and I think he served also as the national director of the Liberal Party. So he's somebody with a lot of experience, but he's never held a cabinet position or anything with Justin Trudeau. So I think seeing him get elected out of all this nonsense that happened, that was the bright spot of seeing him get elected and getting a chance to become the Speaker of the House.
I knew about Greg Fergus, although he's not a minister or does not have like a cabinet position and has not had a cabinet position, but I knew about him because I lived in Gatineau for a couple of months, going to school in Ottawa, to university in Ottawa, and just being aware of where you live and who is your MP is incredibly important. And it was I think it's a nice touch to see him make history and become the first Black Canadian to hold this position, and hopefully it's something that can inspire future generations and younger generations to get involved in politics, and in politics as a broader field, not just like electoral politics, but in just getting involved in your communities, and especially for such a role where you're supposed to be impartial. So that can be, this is it feels better to say that it should be inspiring for people because it's not a partisan role. Whereas when it's like a leader of a party, if you don't agree with the policies or the party's ideology, it's kind of hard to say with ease that it's an inspiring moment. But for a position that should be impartial, it's a welcomed feat of history.
Yeah, and that impartiality is so important when it comes to the Speaker of the House. It's why, when you saw Greg Fergus being officially voted in and assuming that role, he's being brought up there by Pierre Poilievre and Justin Trudeau. That is the routine that happens when a speaker assumes that role. They're holding him on one. You have the leader and then the leader of the opposition holding Greg Fergus. Hooking arms and then bring him there. I'm sure everybody has seen that video. Yeah. Greg Fergus is reluctantly walking up, and people are like, you look at it like, what is going on? But the history behind that is that role is obviously a role that it was seen back then, like nobody wanted to take it. People were reluctant to take that role. So now it's been like a tradition. Like when a speaker assumes a role, they hook his arm and they're kind of forcing him to get up there, and he doesn't want to go up there because as I said, you're out here trying to moderate debates. Make sure everybody gets their time and following all these parliamentary rules. Like it's a tough job. It definitely is a hard job, and it requires you, again, like we've said multiple times, to be impartial. And I think that's the main thing here, especially when we live in such a polarized time, to have one role in the Canadian government where you're like, okay, this person at least is the one that kind of is just there to ensure that our government is running, and being impartial. I think that's important, and it is definitely inspiring that we fight. It's a black person, that has that role, of kind of calming tempers, in Parliament, and just making sure procedures are followed. So I think honestly it was really cool for that to happen, and I wish him the best of luck. And I always find that video just funny. just how they reluctantly walk up there.
Yeah, that custom is hilarious, and I remember being taught in my my one of my university courses on Canadian parliamentary system that is a custom because it used to be the case. It goes back to the UK, and it used to be the case that the Speaker of the House was the person that would go inform the king of the decisions that the House was taking, and if and that was not like a good position to be in, because at the time, if the king is not too happy, you would be the first person to be thrown in jail or killed. So that's why there's that custom of showing reluctance to becoming speaker.